Greetings, holy ones. Guard your energy like sacred fire. Every breath must now be a ceremony. For today we confront a war waged not with blade or any weapon made by man, but in the subtle, hidden realms of mind and spirit, against principalities of darkness. This is the war upon frequency, an insidious conflict targeting the very oscillations of consciousness that sustain life, light, and your freedom. There are 1,000 ways of diluting your sacred fire, your citadel, your sanctuary of peace. And discernment is the sword, and resonance the shield, your harmonic resonance of peace. Together, they are the weapons of the true ascendant. The folly of debating and giving your power away with contentiousness about anything to do in this external world. And to those of you, to those beings who are consciously devoted to darkness, those entities who've consciously said, hell no, I'm not here for ascension. That is not my path. My path is the other way. It is to maintain the structure of the false matrix. Now, dear viewer, don't be offended by this, because each finger represents an element. Earth, fire, air, water, spirit, the Akash. Okay? It's all about the spirit and guarding your spirit in the flame. So when I talk about beings of darkness, these are the beings who are consciously dark. These beings made the choice. That was the last choice that they made, to be dark. The last choice. Now, why do I say it was the last choice that they made? And I'm going to tell you, because I was at the very threshold of making that choice. And because once you've made that choice and you've devoted yourself to darkness, which is ignorance, maintaining ignorance, promulgating ignorance, darkness, maybe it's in the form of devil worship, maybe it's in the form of organized Satanism, of glorifying the material, of satiating your sensuality to the exclusion of all else. Maybe it's in the form of a devotion to darkness. However it comes up, right when you've made that choice, I promise you, that's the last choice that you're going to make. The last. Because thereafter, darkness will tell your bitch ass what to do. That's right. You lose your freedom of choice. You lose your connection to source. You are a parasite. You lose your ability to create from photon light quotient from source, from all that is, from the prime creator. You lose your knowledge of divine coding from the minuscule, from the divine grid programmer. You lose any minuscule of autonomy that you ever had, because your bitch ass is now in servitude to darkness. You lose your knowledge of divine coding, how to co-create your life from the divine grid programmer that we all partake of. And yet you gain the ability to manipulate, to feel a minuscule of power from your Draco overlord that you thought was the prince of darkness, but was just a fourth dimensional Lizzie. That's right, a lower form of God's creation. You simply lose and you become essentially deeply enslaved to the will of darkness, which is now going to oversee your life from that nexus point of your last choice. This is how it works. This is the covenant of darkness. Welcome to all eternity. Unless, dear viewer, you hit that subscribe button and leave this video a thumbs up, because it indicates to the algorithm, that now is the time for discernment, sharpened like a blade. This is not the age of reaction, but of stealth action, born from stillness. Move like the ancient samurai, rooted in prayer and responding only when divinely summoned. Because the field is volatile, noise is everywhere. But those who listen in silence will strike with truth. Your strength lies not in visibility, but in vibrational alignment. Guard your energy like sacred fire. But praise your enemy, because he is the catalyst that makes you realize that every breath must now be a ceremony. This war upon frequency, contentiousness, microaggressions. It is here, beneath the threshold of awareness, that microaggressions arise, whispers of shadow, slights cast like tiny arrows into the soul's aura. Seemingly small, these shadow echoes accumulate, fracturing the coherence of the soul field, your shield of harmonic resonance. Each slight, each unspoken insult or exclusion acts as a frequency parasite, draining the vitality of the light body. They lower the vibrational signature, making the soul container more susceptible to the dark frequencies that seek dominion. But these microaggressions are only the surface of a deeper threat, the weaponization of consciousness. Here, consciousness itself becomes a tool of control, a technology wielded by forces who understand how to manipulate the energetic and mental patterns of the masses. They exploit the moral circuitry, the compass of guilt, shame, and self-judgment to fracture identity and impose false narratives. This is not merely psychological warfare, it is energetic subjugation. The frequency of mind, the harmonic resonance of brainwave states, emotional fields, and subtle energies. This is the battleground, and it is a battleground, make no mistake. And when these frequencies are dragged into chaotic beta states of anxiety or collapsed into depressive delta shadows, the individual becomes a node in the web of control, an unwitting participant in their own enslavement. Our task as ascendants is to reclaim sovereignty over these frequencies, to cultivate the inner resonance core, a protected harmonic field anchored in the pure flame of self, shielded by the flame of discernment. And no, this is not any kind of devil symbol, mudra. This is the hand sign, the hand mudra of heart-mind coherence. Practices such as the ritual of discernment, mindfulness of energy, and conscious alignments with the solar logos strengthen this core. They sever the parasites, neutralize the weaponized scripts, and restore the vibrational integrity of the soul field. Beyond the personal, this war is waged on the collective mind. The mirror grid, the psychic network of humanity, is infiltrated by mimic frequencies designed to sow division and doubt. Only by cultivating energetic coherence through community, ritual, and spiritual discipline can we disrupt this web and illuminate the path for others to awaken, to rise in frequency and regain their sovereignty. Remember, the frequency of your mind is your battlefield and your sanctuary. Guard it well, nurture it with truth, and you shall become a beacon of the pure sun, unshakable amidst the shadow storm. Namaste, namaskaram.